We start with LeBron's newest record, 40,017 points. When we talk about faces of the league, I saw this from Kendall Baker. He has a good newsletter. LeBron has more points than Magic and Bird combined. Here's LeBron on Instagram, one of one, first NBA player ever. Congrats, LeBron James, 40,000. Again, not a huge fan of receiving compliments, but that was.
Oh, he like that.
No, he's not a fan. He did it through gritted teeth. Drew, your reaction?
My reaction is awe. All right, and there are a lot of reasons to be awed with LeBron James in his career. But the first one that comes to my mind, like when I see him score 40,000 points, is he lived up to the hype.
Yep.
He lived up to the hype. And so many child prodigies don't. They just don't. For whatever reason, they don't live up to the hype. And here's an example. 14 high school athletes have been on the cover of Sports Illustrated, not including, there was a quarterback, Julian Lewis, who was on last year. He's still in high school. So not including him, there's 14 high school athletes on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Here's when LeBron was on the cover as the chosen one. And of all those 14, here's the ones you'll know. Kevin Garnett and Bryce Harper, outside of LeBron.
When?
No one else came close to living up to hype. Imani Bates was on there, and obviously he's hit hard times. Sebastian Telfair, Jabari Parker.
Yeah.
Telfair made it to the league, but
Jabari was top 3 pick, but didn't work out.
Very disappointing. So, and before that, I mean, Rick Mount, you got all types of guys that just didn't live up to the hype. So for LeBron to live up to the hype is incredible. And if you look at the top players in the NBA right now, Giannis, Steph, Luka, Jokic, Embiid, none of them were child prodigies. Now, you can say it's because they didn't start playing till later because they were international or whatever it is. Look at what Jokic and Giannis were when they got into the league.
Yeah.
They didn't average a lot of points. I mean, not Luka, but Giannis and Jokic when they got into the league. And, Luka, but overseas. So he didn't have the hype here that
he was the 3rd pick of his own draft. Even if people thought it was crazy, for whatever the pedigree was, he wasn't considered like this guy.
Absolutely. And look at Zion, the pitfalls that can come with Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, or you just might, you might be an early bloomer and then guys catch up. There was a guy in LeBron's crew, Willie McGee, that was at least as good as LeBron when they were in like 8th grade. And he was bigger than everybody, and he didn't, he was more of a full-grown man than guys his age. So my point is, for LeBron to live up to this is just awesome. I mean, all the hype he got, he's the most hyped basketball player ever. Because Wemby, overseas, so it wasn't as hyped here in America. Kareem, it just was a different time. He was hyped for that period, but he didn't have to deal with what LeBron did. And so, quickly, Nick, before you go, the longevity, these are some of the guys in history. I mean, we all know Wade, Carmelo, Bosh, all right? Luke Walton, who's been a coach, was a coach a while ago, all right? Willie Green, the coach of the New Orleans Pelicans. James Jones, GM in Phoenix, president in Phoenix. So, he's the last one standing. So the fact that he's lived up to the hype and then this longevity, which we've never seen. It's him and Tom Brady as far as this type of longevity. And it's awe-inspiring.
And it is, I know people and on TV, but in regular life as well, can be prisoners of the moment. And I know that at times I've been called that. I try not to be. This will sound like it, but it won't be. It's unbreakable. It's and it's unbreakable because I'll give you the ideas, then I'll give you the numbers. The ideas are very easy to follow. LeBron was able to do this because he was the youngest to do everything and is now the oldest to do everything. He never got hurt. He played minutes that are now considered insane, 38 per game for his career. For his career, 38 per game. Doing all of that while being a top 5 scorer for 15 different seasons, while playing more minutes and what ultimately will be more games than anyone ever. So you show the youngest to score any amount of points. It's LeBron. Every single threshold is LeBron. So he's the youngest, but now he's also the oldest to get to 39 and 40 because nobody's ever done those at any age. And this is where, people will throw around compiler. It's not compiling when you are still excellent.
Yeah.
When you're still an all-NBA level guy. He's not doing this by playing 27 years in the last 7, averaging 14 a game. He's still one of the top 10 scorers in the league. He's doing it in a year right now where he's shooting better from 3 than Steph Curry this season. And so how can someone catch him? Well, I'll give you the 3 best candidates of different generations of guys playing right now and what it would mean not for them to catch LeBron, just for them to get to 40,000. Because then keep in mind, LeBron's still going. So this is each guy, different generations, and I'll show you why I picked him in a moment, but how far they are away. But what does that actually mean? So for Durant, what does Durant have to do? If he averaged 30 a game for the rest of his career, he would have to play 6 years longer than LeBron plays. Not 6 more years to get to 40, but then he also has to catch everywhere else LeBron went. And right now, he and LeBron score the same amount. Okay, what about Luka? Let's give Luka 32.5 points per game for the rest of his career. He'd have to play 70 a year. He's only done that once ever.
Right.
And play 13 more. Okay, what about Wemby?
Because the 13 more is not completely out of the question. But
what about Wemby? Let's give Wemby, sorry if it's a little hard to read, 35 a game. Okay? He just have to do it for 16 straight years. Can he do it? No. It's not possible. Because LeBron started younger than everyone and is now going older than everyone and played more minutes than people do now. So it's just not a realistic goal. It's when we talked about this before and I screwed up Walter Matthewson's name, or maybe I said it again, where it's Walter Johnson and Christy Mathewson. I've done it twice. But you look at some of those guys, it's like, oh, he had 400 complete games. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, that's like... and so it's just, these are... I don't think Wilt held the scoring record for 27 years. Kareem then held it for 39 years. Like, the idea that someone's going to break this in our lifetime... History says they won't. Yeah. The average length is 3 decades that they hold.
Those numbers are very compelling. And with the minutes that guys are playing, Wemby's playing 28 minutes a night.
Right.
And I don't blame him. I'm blaming the Spurs. I like to see him play more. But I'll give you
28 minutes a night.
28.7 minutes a night.
I pulled LeBron's durability. When he was 20, he played 42 minutes a night.
Yeah. And how many games? And do you have it?
80 games.
Right, that's the thing.
They're not like, whether it's, some of it's the team, some of it's the player, they're not playing as much, which is huge for this type of thing. If guys would play the minutes that LeBron played, like if they just start playing more like they used to, here's 2 things that make me wonder. I don't think it's as unbreakable as Wilt's 100. But I do, like I said, your numbers
I think Wilt's 100 is way more breakable. We've seen guys
get 81, obviously,
and
right?
A couple guys 70 this year.
If the prominence of the 3-point shot makes me wonder, because guys are scoring more now individually because their shootings, half their shots are worth 3. Steph's taking 12 threes a game. Luka's taking 10 threes a game. That's probably, unless there's a rule change, it's only going to increase. So if 50 to 60 maybe % of my shots are worth 3 points, then my scoring is going to go up. So that's one thing. Now, again, you still have to do it for incredibly long. Wemby makes me wonder. Because, like I said, he's only playing 28 minutes a game. This last month, he's averaged like 23 points. Look, your numbers, like I said, it's hard to imagine playing.
He gave Wemby 35 points per night. He would have to do that for 16 straight years with no injuries and playing more than he's playing right now as a healthy rookie.
Yeah.
Those numbers make you say, how did LeBron get there?
And the answer is start at 18, which none of these guys do, and average 27 a night for 21 years and never get hurt.
Yeah, he missed 40 games or 39 games in his first 10 years.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work. Here's the other thing about, just quickly.
Yeah.
Tim McMahon asked Luka about trying to chase when he broke Kareem's record. And this is the quote that I like. It's a long time to play basketball. I'd rather go back to my farm in Slovenia. There's also an element of wanting to do it. Like LeBron just really enjoys it, still competing on a higher level. It's not like, you know what? I've got $1 billion. I can probably.
He's got all the money. He's got all the accolades. Yeah. And he's still pushing.
Wants it. You know why?
That is
because of guys like us. You got to catch Jordan.
I don't know what else he could be shooting for. And again, some people already think he's gotten there, but what else could he be shooting for?
Well, I think I think the only competitive carrot is the GOAT stuff. I think the other part of it is I think he loves basketball.
Yeah, that's right.
I think he loves basketball, and I think he wants – we can talk about people, you can make so much money doing a lot of things. There are not a lot of things LeBron James could do right now that guarantee him $60 million a year salary. Mm-hmm. And if the goal is to own an NBA team one day, accumulating as many $60 million a year years is an important factor to it.
And he's great at it. LeBron will finish this season with 8,000 more points than Jordan. The longevity argument, not even close. But how much do you think this should factor into the GOAT debate?
I don't think it's certainly not the deciding factor. If it were, Kareem would have been viewed as the GOAT. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was by far the highest scorer, until LeBron broke his record. And Nick, in sports, we tend to take peak over longevity. Right. As long as your peak was in a substantial career. You can't have a great peak for 4 years and, he's the GOAT. No. Yeah. As long as you had a legitimately lengthy career, we've always tended to say peak over longevity. In football, Emmitt Smith's the leading rusher. Very few people think he's the best ever. Some will say he's the best running back, but most will take a Barry Sanders, a Jim Brown, Eric Dickerson, or somebody else because their peaks were higher. Yeah. In baseball, Hank Aaron obviously was the home run leader until Barry Bonds, but Hank Aaron never hit 50 home runs in a year. So he was called the home run king because of the longevity, but a Babe Ruth,
he wasn't called the best baseball player.
Right. He was never viewed as the GOAT.
I agree with
you. Right. So I think in that regard, even the NBA, Magic Johnson, who I think is by far the greatest passer ever, is 7th in assists. Now, we get his career was cut short, but still, I think, these are examples of how we view peak over longevity.
I agree with you on that. Where I will push back and where I don't even think I'm pushing back against you. Yeah. Here is, I think, the simplest way to put it. There is an argument to be made that LeBron's peak was higher than Jordan's. There is an argument to be made that Jordan's peak was higher. Mm-hmm. But I will put the 27-game winning streak year, the year he was Finals MVP, League MVP, second-place Defensive Player of the Year, and talking about the Heat in 2013, or 2014, up against anything Jordan ever did. I will. And so at least can we agree that there is an argument that LeBron at his peak is as good as Jordan at his peak?
I think
you don't think there's an argument?
I think Jordan's peak was better.
Okay.
Now close. Okay. But he was Defensive Player of the Year and MVP.
I understand, and LeBron was 3 votes shy of Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. That's fine, but that's the.
And 6 championships in 8 years. I'll even give you that 8 years.
So now you're talking about extended peak. Not singular peak. So you're calling peak the exact amount of time that Jordan won championships.
No.
Well, you just said 6 and 8 years, but that's
that's part of it. But the years before he won the championship, his peak was high too. So now LeBron, we're talking about. I mean, if you're going to talk about the years before LeBron won championships,
because the MVP and Defensive Player of the year was what year? The
80.
You're right. He did not. Right. So
sure.
not
he didn't
Jordan's
win the championship
peak.
That
year. It's weird. So I don't know. We're kind of confusing it. That's fine. I think the peaks are similar. The longevity's not. Mm-hmm. So the longevity's not a close call. LeBron is unquestionably
88 was the year.
Right. So was that his peak or not?
It was during his peak.
Okay. So Jordan's peak was when?
But Nick, see,
the longevity.
I'm asking. But the longevity argument can work against LeBron too. Because the longer you play and less you win championships.
Okay.
Hold on, let me state it. Jordan won 6 championships in 15 years. And that's in counting 2 when he played like 17 and 18 games, okay? But 15 years, that's a championship every 2.5 years. LeBron has won 4 in 20 years. That's 1 every 5 years. Jordan won it twice the rate. And if LeBron keeps playing and doesn't win, it's going to be like the number, it's like a Wilt Chamberlain. Like, the numbers are outstanding. He's rewriting the individual record book. But when you talk about the winning, he didn't win close to as much as Jordan.
So when you say 6 and 15 years, we're not counting the years Jordan. Like, it's not 15.
I'm counting championships. I'm not counting appearances in the finals.
No, hold on. I'm talking about 15. The 15 years that you're counting is not 15 consecutive years.
No, it's the 15 years, 15 seasons he played basketball.
Right, but that's
Why
not 15 years in a row.
The years he was president of the Wizards?
Because he stopped playing and then went back to basketball and stopped playing and went back to basketball. So I'm just asking, in your opinion, if LeBron James had retired from 17 to 19, and then also, by the way, retired right after his 1 championship with the Lakers, he would have a better GOAT case.
It'd be sick, though,
because
if
then he had 4 in 16 years.
That is totally not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they both played a certain amount of seasons.
No, I get it.
All right?
But
I'm not counting retirement.
No, I understand
Because I could sit here and say Jordan would have won 8 had he not retired. I'm not going to say that.
That's not what I'm trying to. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what you said at the end there is somehow that if LeBron keeps playing at this level longer,
if he has 4 championships in 23 seasons.
Right. So if he
how you going to compare that to Michael Jordan winning 6?
So again, and you're 15. Not a count the rings guy, but everything you've said here has been in the rings.
No, because it's dominance. It's dominance. Like right now, LeBron is playing great. Mm-hmm. Is he playing close to what he did when he was at his peak?
No, of course not.
Why? How do we know that? Because the numbers are the same.
Because we can watch him play.
We can look at the wins and losses too.
Sure, yeah, that's
what we can do.
Absolutely, and you're right.
That's what I'm saying.
He is right now at 39 years old. He is not nearly as good as young LeBron, but he's way better than 39-year-old Jordan by any metric.
That's what I'll give you. The longevity argument is for LeBron.
But you say
the peak argument is to me it's not an argument.
You just throw longevity out there, and I think it is too dismissive of the fact that we would, if we sat down here and said, hey, who was better at 18? Who was better at 19? Who was better at 20? Who was better at 21? Who was better at 22?
Kareem. I mean, if you want to just say
I'm so glad you said that.
We're talking about NBA GOAT, Nick. We're not talking about high school. We're not talking about college. Kareem and Jordan were in college.
I got it.
At 18 and 19.
Okay, so if they were in college and LeBron was in the NBA, the better NBA player at 18 was LeBron. And the better. Okay, so Jordan's rookie.
We get nonsensical.
That's fine. No, we're not. Jordan's rookie year at 22. He's in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Agreed. And LeBron's in the finals. Who was better at 22?
At 22, I don't know.
You don't know. See,
because LeBron had 4 years with the Cavs.
Okay.
Now that was a great run. But to say Jordan was awesome as a rookie.
Right. So you think it's a debate about if Michael Jordan and his 35-win Bulls team was better than that he was better at 22.
Who was the better individual
than LeBron
player?
The year they went to the finals.
LeBron had a better team.
Look, really? I'm not even sure about that being the case. But LeBron,
they beat the championship.
In the 48 special year, you think there's a chance that rookie Michael Jordan was better? Really?
I would likely give it to LeBron.
Okay. So the point that I was trying to make is, and we know that at 36, 37, 38, 39, it's LeBron.
Jordan wasn't even playing at 36.
Which is why we know it was LeBron.
That's fine. We're not talking about who was better at this age. We're talking about who was better during their NBA career. And Michael Jordan locked down the entire NBA no one else.
Say that, but it's just
true.
Not true.
Really? Those 7 years he played.
The 7 years.
No, hold on. LeBron didn't lock down the Eastern Conference his whole career. He locked it down for a 8 year stretch. That's how he locked down the East when he went to the finals 8 straight years. Yeah. Jordan locked the entire league down for 6 straight years that he played. Or 6 of 7, we'll give you that.
Well, you're not giving me anything. That's just the facts.
That's the fact.
Okay,
so would you rather have somebody who dominated his conference but got to the other conference and got beat, or somebody who put the whole league on?
But I'm really glad you put it in those terms, because you are correct. For 6 of 8 seasons, Michael Jordan won the championship, which is locked down the league. LeBron, on the other hand,
6 of 7 seasons that he played.
Okay. But there were 8 NBA seasons. Michael Jordan opted not to participate in one of them.
So he's going to get punished for that?
I'm just saying.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. You're punishing him because he retired.
I'm just saying what the calendar was. And then LeBron James, for 4 of, I got to do it in my head real quick, 4 of 9 seasons locked down the league. Right? Yeah. It would be from 12
not locking
to 20.
Down. 4 and 9 isn't locking down.
And then on the front,
locking down is like a stretch.
On the front and the
where
back
you're getting
end
there
of that,
every year.
Right, but he
got to the finals every year, but he didn't lock down the league. He locked down the East.
Right, and if we are going to do this thing where you're right, because he's not going to get to 6 most likely, where it is simply that one guy got to 6 and the other guy won 6 and the other guy didn't, then what? Then none of this will matter. Then none of it will matter. And I know that's where you're at, Wild.
None of what will matter?
Then if LeBron gets to 50,000 points, it won't matter.
Nick, you think. I don't think the peaks. LeBron, I think, is the 2nd greatest player ever. So of course, it's relatively close.
Okay.
But I don't think anyone can say at their peak who was better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan, and say LeBron. I think it's clearly Jordan. And I think longevity is clearly LeBron. So which do you take? Would you rather longevity or would you rather peak?
The point I was trying to make, Brew, is if Michael Jordan, and I don't agree with you on the peak thing, but let me just give it to you. If Michael Jordan's peak is a 100 out of 100 rating, and LeBron's peak as the 2nd best player ever, call it a 97 out of 100 rating. Longevity, LeBron is by definition 100 out of 100, and Jordan was about an 80. Jordan had a lot of guys play a lot more.
Yeah, but longevity is still not.
So you're saying you're almost saying it doesn't matter at all, because one gap is this close, and some people would say it's flipped the other way, and the other gap is this big and getting wider and wider.
But I get it. Look, it's what LeBron. I don't want to take away from what LeBron's doing because the longevity is incredible, but if you're not they're the 10th seed right now in the West. I mean, Michael Jordan, what were they?
At 39 years old as the Wizards?
Seed.
I'm curious.
Yeah, they were the 9th or 10th seed in that year.
Yeah, okay.
So had they had to play it, maybe they would have been in the playoffs too.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.